Okay. Good evening. We're going to do a short review on what we learned yesterday. We're speaking about Shavuot ideas, the holiday of the receiving of the Torah. So we are speaking, the first idea we said is that what is the idea of receiving the Torah? There's the verse says, when we receive the Torah, Vaydaber Elokim et kol hadvarim ha'ele lemor. Hashem spoke all these words saying. So why does the Torah repeating it seemingly? That Hashem spoke all these words saying. We know that He spoke these words. Why are you saying saying? So the idea is, technical difficulties. The idea is that when lemor is that when we say the words of Torah, Hashem is repeating the words we are actually saying. That power was given actually when we received the Torah. That the words we speak when we're learning Torah, it's as really like Hashem is speaking with us. We're just repeating the words Hashem is saying. As it says in Tehillim, my tongue is answering your words. Because your words are the Torah. And I'm sort of just answering and repeating after what you are saying. And this is the connection of the giving of the Torah to Shavuot. Because on the festival of Shavuot, Kabbalistically, we received the level of the crown. The crown of Hashem, this is called Keter in the language of Kabbalah. This is a high level of will and on like delight and godliness that we receive on Shavuot, that we receive on this holiday, and that we receive when the Torah was given. And that's why it says we count 49 days. In the Torah it says you will count 50 days. So why does it say, if we're only counting 49 days, why does it say you will count 50 days? Through our service, we're actually counting 50 days as if from above Hashem is counting it for us, because we're entering in to the 50th portal. The 50th portal is the 50th portal of understanding, which is connected to this crown. And this is the idea that when the Torah was given, this gave us strength that when we learn Torah, we're completely becoming nullified and united into that energy of godliness and the energy of spirituality, that when we learn Torah, we're experiencing that energy. We lose, so to speak, our separate existence, our ego, and we become one with Hashem through learning Torah as the crown is being revealed. And that's why it says they came to the desert of Sinai on the third month, because it was the third month and it was Rosh Chodesh, the head of the month. This is the preparation for receiving the Torah. Why is the head of the month the preparation for receiving the Torah? Because on Rosh Chodesh, this is the birth of the moon. When the moon is born, so to speak, then we're starting to see its light again. It's a tiny sliver of light, a tiny point of light. And this exemplifies and shows, signifying the nullification of the moon, that the moon, so to speak, has no light of its own. All the light the moon receives is what is illuminated by the sun. And so too with our nation, we are like the moon. We count by the moon. That's how we figure out our holidays. On Rosh Chodesh, on the head of the month, just as the moon is reborn, this is a good time on the head of the month to reveal and to show the nullification, the unity that we have with God. And that's why Rosh Chodesh Sivan, the head of the month of Sivan, is the preparation for receiving the Torah, because we're saying that one of the main concepts of receiving the Torah was that the words we say It's as if we're repeating God's words Himself. So when we got out of Egypt, we started counting Sfirat Omer. This is the preparation for receiving the Torah. 7 weeks of Sfirat Omer are corresponding to the 7 emotional attributes: kindness, justice, mercy and beauty. Victory and splendor is being able to withstand. Then you have the foundation, which is connection. And the last one is our kingship, which is connected to our speech and our action. And since in the last week, this week, we are already, like last night, we already counted 47 days. Already this week, we've gone through the first 3 emotions. We've basically finished refining almost all 7 emotions. So you have, he's going to explain that we have two elevations here. One is that on Rosh Chodesh, we're nullified. We're nullified like the moon. And the second one is that we have completion and perfection through finishing the counting of the Sfirat Omer and through refining our 7 emotional attributes. So the idea is that to receive the Torah, we need both levels. Since we need to be kind of complete in our emotions, and at the same time, we need to have nullification. Why? Torah is higher than this world, is higher than man. And since it's higher than man, we need to kind of nullify our existence in a sense to be able to receive Torah. Because if we're an ego, then we're the opposite of Torah. So that's why we need this nullification that we receive on Rosh Chodesh, that the moon is small, that we're saying our light is small and all the light we receive is from Hashem. And we also need the completion of counting Sfirat Omer and working on our emotions, so we'll be a fitting vessel for the Torah, since we're able to really become a fitting vessel by working on our emotions and refining ourselves and going through the 49 portals till we can reach the 50th portal and become a vessel for the crown, which is in the 50th portal. So that's why it also says on this day, Rosh Chodesh, we came to the desert of Sinai. The word desert in Hebrew is midbar, which is speaking, and it's kind of that you're speaking in a nullified way, without ego, so to speak, and we're speaking spiritually. And a desert is a land that is not sown, so it's in a sense that we're kind of completely giving over our speech to the spiritual speech of Hashem. And also that through the Torah, it gives us the power to overpower our sometimes natural inclinations that need to be refined through the Torah. So that's why we came to the desert, that it's on this day that is connected to Rosh Chodesh that the moon is small, that we become more connected to this energy of unifying and nullifying ourselves to Hashem. So we keep speaking about this idea of the moon, that it's a single point, so to speak, on Rosh Chodesh, that it's a small light, and it feels that its light is completely nullified to Hashem. So the idea is that we still have an existence. There's still light there, and it's a love, and it's not that we nullify ourselves completely. It's that our existence and our feeling, the way we're feeling, is completely becoming united in godliness. So it's as if our light is complete godliness, and it's as if we're complete spirituality, so to speak. So just going to speak about a couple more ideas here. We said that on the holiday of Shavuot, we're drawing down this crown, and the crown is something that is above us. It's an energy that surrounds us, like the crown literally surrounds our head. And it says that when we got the Torah, we said, Naaseh v'nishma, we will do and we will listen. that the angels came down and tied two crowns on our head, so to speak. This is the idea that we're getting elevated to that higher level of godliness on the crown, the 50th portal. And there's this idea on Shavuot that we have the idea of that we're ascending to godliness, and we're also bringing it back down, because the whole point is that we should go both directions. You can't just have one direction. We can't always just be focused on the physical world, and we can't always just be focused on spirituality. We need to have the joining of the two. So we need the ratzo, the running up, and we need the shov, the bringing it back down. So the this nullification that we're saying is connected to Rosh Chodesh, connected to the birth of the moon. This is what it says, that on this day. Why do you say on this day? Anytime it says this, it's something that you know clearly. And it's a high revelation of godliness, that on this day we had this high revelation of godliness that started to begin. And we on Rosh Chodesh Sivan, that was the time that it says that we encamped on Mount Sinai, and it says that all of the nation was like one, Ke'ish echad belev echad, as one person and as one heart. Since we felt that nullification, since we didn't feel our ego, we really had that unity. Almost, that was one of the only times ever in our nation we had such a high level of unity that we were literally considered as one person and one heart. And Hashem said, this is the time that I'm going to give them the Torah. The fact that we were on that level of one person and one heart, it's the since we had these high revelations of our soul, which is higher than the light of the soul that's in our body. It was as if the light of our soul, which is upstairs, was revealing itself down here. And we literally felt that unity amongst ourselves, and Hashem gave us the Torah. And this was on the third month, that because the first month is it's the moon alone, and it's mainly, it's a lower level of malchut, like the lowest level. The next month is ER, which is light. So we spoke a lot of times about the sfirot, the spiritual spheres. The lowest one is malchut, which is action, speech. That's in its kingship, and that's in Nisan, which is connected to the moon. The next month is ER. ER is called the month of light, and that's connected to the sphere of foundation, which illuminates in the kingship. And that's why it's called an illumination, because it's an illumination alone. On the third month, we go up to the beauty, Tiferet, which is one of the higher emotions, which is connected to the essence of godliness. And it's not just the light, it's a revelation of the essence of godliness that mainly happened on Rosh Chodesh Sivan, which we celebrated on Sunday. And we drew down that spiritual energy this past Sunday, and we're drawing it down more every day in preparation for Matan Torah, the receiving of Torah, because we know every year when we do the learning of the night of Shavuot, and when we read the 10 Commandments on the day of Shavuot, and we do all the prayers, we're really experiencing that energy on a higher level, even though not necessarily we can't always feel it. We're experiencing it on a higher level every year on Shavuot, on this holiday. We're receiving the Torah, and that's up to us how much we put ourselves out there. And especially now, unfortunately, that a lot of us won't be able to attend synagogue. That's on us, that we do the learning, and we connect ourselves on this holiday, and we try to feel these ideas, feel the nullification that happens on this day, feel the fact that when we learn Torah, we're really repeating Hashem's words that He's saying, and it's speaking through us, literally. That was the power that was given when we received the Torah, that the words Hashem says is coming through us when we learn Torah. and that we're receiving the light of the crown, and that we've come through Sfirat Omer. We've worked on our emotional attributes, so we've made ourselves a fitting vessel to go into the 50th portal, which is the 50 gates of understanding, which is connected to the crown, and the crown is connected to the essence of our soul, which is higher than even the light of our soul, which is illuminating on our body down here. Thank you guys for listening. And Bezrat Hashem, we're going to do a Tehillim tomorrow morning at 10, around 10. Sometimes it's a little different. And Bezrat Hashem, again, we will do a Torah class tomorrow night at 8:30. Thank you so much, David and Louise, and everyone else for listening. Have a great night. God bless you guys.